we're going to do a quick review on the Amazon show Utopia, which came out a couple weeks ago. Give me 1 second before we do that. We're going to try one more thing. See if we can fix the audio with Julie. Anyway, new show with John Cusack, Rainn Wilson, a bunch of other Sasha Lane, called Utopia, hit Amazon a couple weeks ago. And basically what it's about is this graphic novel / comic that was also kind of a hidden story and gives clues to a character in her own little hero story, so to speak. And, excuse me. Well, let's just get right to it. It was interesting, to say the least. That's I know you kind of trashed it, Brendan, and we're writing on.
I hated every character but two. The only two characters I didn't hate were the little girl, because she had more balls and brains than all of the quote-unquote heroes, and the girl that got shot. Like, she was the only smart one of the whole group, and they shoot her at the end of the second episode. I was like, and she's like, and the stupid freaking reasoning for this quote unquote hero shooting this other girl is like, a group can only have one leaders, and blah blah blah. Are you kidding me? So you're going to get everybody else to follow you by shooting their friend in the face? Like, I'm sorry, but if somebody shot you in the face, Marcus, and my whole thing would be plotting to kill them. Like, I wouldn't be sitting there going along with everything she said. I'd be like, okay, as soon as I get that gun away from her, she's gonna die.
Right. So I like the concept of what they were doing. I don't know if it was delivered well. I think
I like the idea behind the story. Right. I just think the dialogue and the characters all sucked.
I don't know if I necessarily think that all the characters sucked. I mean, like the main character Jessica Hyde, played by Sasha Lane.
Yeah, she doesn't need to stay alive.
No, see, I disagree. I actually liked her because she does soften up a little bit. She realizes she needs these other people. But at the same time, why is it that every story we have always ends with somebody trying to reshape the world or make everybody, or come with some kind of master race, and this is the way that we're going to do it? We're going to fix humanity. Because that's what this story really boiled down to, is some diabolical plot. And then the person, who...
And by the way, much like Thanos, with, we're just going to take half of the people away. First of all, that solves nothing. It just creates all new problems. Right. And second of all, it's a temporary solution, because guess what? Even if they were, if John, what's his face, Cusack said, they'll be sterile for 3 generations. Okay, well, in 4 generations, from 1978, when I was born, to now, the world population has more than doubled. So in 3 generations, which is what, 50 years? Okay, it's just going to start all over again.
Right.
So it's just, it's like, it's my master plan is to delay the inevitable for half a century. Ooh, you're a freaking crazy and scary villain. I mean, come on. So come up with better stories.
But again, it's, I always come down to it. It's hilarious. Anytime there's some storyline about remaking the world, or we're going to have a master race, I always come back to Sean Connery and Dr. No, and that one great line, world domination, the same old dream. Because that's what it is. And I won't go too far into say that shouldn't be the storyline for everything, because it's a tale as old as time. You're always going to have men who want to control the world, okay, whether there's some secret organization or want to create a master race. I mean, that idea never truly goes away. But the issue, too, is I also feel like we've seen this story where you come up with there's a scientist that comes up with something that's supposed to be good, and then of course you get somebody that wants to manipulate it and use it as a weapon, or use it somehow to remake society. So, and then of course it's some guy, oh, but we're going to get rich doing it. Really? Because I feel like we keep seeing that story so much now that it just becomes simplistic.
And honestly, we don't need an Amazon story with a $1 billion budget to tell us this story. All we have to do is just read the story about the guy who bought EpiPens.
Right. Julie, can you hear us?
Now I can, yeah.
Okay.
Yay! It's fixed.
Skynet, you will not defeat Julie Jones today.
That's
Although
right.
I will say, okay, I'm going to amend my earlier statement. There was one other character that I think didn't completely suck, and that was Rainn Wilson's doctor.
Right.
Because he's just a normal dude trying to do the right thing.
Right.
In some really screwed up circumstances, and he has, for the most part, the appropriate reaction to those screwed up circumstances.
Right. Again, I like the concept of having a graphic novel or a comic book with hidden clues, and you're trying to figure it out. So you basically
like a comic book. A comic book is the center point of an actual real world conspiracy. That's cool. I just thought, I don't know, was it just me, or was John Cusack kind of lame as a villain?
He does. Here's the problem. As much as we love John Cusack, and even if your career has kind of fallen short a little bit where you're doing these be-like movies, you're not a villain. You don't make a good villain. You're going to be creepy at best. And while he was kind of funny as he's duct taped at the end, in the last episode, like, you got to take my thumb, you're funny. But I don't look at you and take you seriously.
He came off more as annoying than he did sinister.
Okay, you know what character you played that I would believe for world domination? Yeah, Grosse Pointe Blank. I mean, Morton Blank. That's I could believe that more than you doing this. And then, what's your purpose for today? And then you're trying to justify the fact that you're willing to infect lots of people or kill them, and we're going to, because the whole point boils down to is, well, there's too many people in the world, so we've got to come up with a way to where we're not going to have children for 3 generations. And now you've turned into that great sci-fi movie called Children of Men.
Which
so
we've already done, and that was dealing with the aftermath and the fact that the first baby born since the humans went sterile. So it was just like, I don't know. Just so many things about that show annoyed me. What's funny was I told you that I hated that show, and then Marcus texts back, well, I'm only on the 2nd episode, and I really like this blonde girl. And I'm like, I text back.
10 minutes later,
she gets her head blown off, and I'm like, hey, how'd that work out for you?
Right. They always kill the pretty one. Yeah, that didn't really work out. I do want a 2nd season of this series for 2 reasons. One, I feel like you have more to tell, and there's because the first season is kind of underwhelming, there's a greater story and so much more happening that's I feel like it's necessary to make it all better. But then again, if you have to keep making more seasons to make your first season better, then I think there's a problem.
Well, there's a lot of shows that their first season struggle where it goes on to be a much better show. I mean, Star Trek: The Next Generation comes to mind. The first season was very uneven and choppy, and
right.
It got much better 2nd, 3rd season, so on. But I just don't know that I care enough to watch a 2nd season. Like Star Trek, I was already emotionally invested in because I had watched Star Trek with my uncle and my cousin from a young age, and I knew Kirk, and Spock and Sulu and the rest. And so, I was already very invested with the idea of Star Trek. There's nothing about this, the whole tagline is "Stay alive, Jessica Hyde." I'm like, yeah, I don't care if she dies. So,
yeah. And you kind of feel like that once you know the master plan, it's like she's just a girl looking for her dad, and it's unnecessary. Yeah. I do like Sasha Lane as an actress, and the reason I comment on her is she is someone that fell into acting by accident. Years ago, we had to do a press screening of this film. Her very first movie was a film called American Honey with Shia LaBeouf. It was raw. It was intense. The director used basically regular people and kind of let them improvise and everything. You liked Sasha's intensity so much as this runaway girl who was forced to take care of her siblings and then goes on the road with these band of other misfits who are selling magazines door to door. And it's about this coming of age story for her. She was great. Okay. And it's actually one of the movies that I do praise Shia LaBeouf as being, a decent actor. But she has done very well. I know, Julie, you hated the last Hellboy movie, and I kind of agree with you. It was not very good, but she was good in it. She was actually one of the brightest.
And let me clarify. I don't have any problems with the actors and actresses in this show. I just don't think they were given very good. Like I'm not telling you to go on Twitter and hammer these actors and actresses like people did to the poor girl who played Rose in Star Wars. It's not her fault that the character sucked. It was written poorly. Don't blame the actress when they handed a turd burger. Don't blame them for eating it for a freaking paycheck. Like blame the production company, blame the writers. But it's just the actors and actresses. Yeah, I've seen them in other things and they're good. It's just
the reason I praise her in this is with them being limited in story and dialogue and everything. I think she turned what could have been a disaster into something good. Does that make us identify with her character a lot more? Probably not, and it doesn't matter. But again, I want to know more now that she's gotten back to Utopia. The one character that I really, really loved, and I thought Rainn Wilson did a great job. I thought he was one of the bright spots when the kids were kind of annoying. But the guy that played Arby, the assassin, played by Chris Denham, who's been in a lot of different things, and he's always that quiet. I'm not going to always say creepy, but kind of, intense character. He played that beautifully. He is, to me, he's kind of the true hero as someone, he knows what he is. He knows he was created. But he is forging his own hero's path and saying that this is what I believe in, and I'm turning away from what I was raised to, do, so to speak.
And then John Cusack's son, all I could see was Edward Nygma. Because it was the Riddler from Gotham.
Oh, that's right. It was that actor. Oh, my God. I couldn't figure out where I recognized him. But then again, I could never truly get into...
I kept waiting for him to look in the mirror and see a different version of the Riddler.
Right. Well, here's the thing. The concept of Utopia is great. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't check it out. It's not the best series on Amazon by far. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've got a lot of great, well-written shows. I think people should definitely get into The Man of the High Castle now that series is done. And, of course, Brendan and I could talk Bosch with you all night long. But for me, it's not quite as bad as you say. I would honestly give it like a 6 or a 7. Pardon the interruption while you watch this fantastic video by That Nerd Show. But we wanted to remind you that when you're done, go to mynerdswag.com and check out all the cool swag that we sell to help support this great news outlet. Yeah, if you like funny gaming or pop culture retro t-shirts, we have them. If you want a fantastic nerd bracelet to show your love as a nerd, we have that. We are also the home of the Baby Yoda t-shirt. That's right, we got a Baby Yoda t-shirt that you can buy and help support That Nerd Show. So when you're done, go to mynerdswag.com, check it out, help support the show, and keep the lights on. Every purchase helps. It's okay, and you should check it out. But again, I think
probably want to have a bottle of wine on hand.
Yeah, that's
big one.
I will be drinking during this. Yes, but I need a season 2 to kind of round out this story and see where it goes. Especially for the conspiracy dude, who a little bit of a spoiler, turned out to play, whose literal name is in the series is Wilson Wilson. he was funny, and I liked him. And then he turns to easily be manipulated by the bad guys at the end. Like, no, it's okay, and I'm gonna work. It's like, dude, you got played by the bad guy.
Yeah,
Okay. So if
he's
there's one character now that I could see that, like, if he died, I wouldn't feel any sympathy for, it's him now.
oh, I'd probably cheer.
Yeah. So
Like I felt
again,
bad for him when they cut out his eye with a spoon.
oh my god.
Now I'm just like, I wish they had taken your other one.
Brendan, now be honest. When they did that, were you thinking to yourself,
Alan
But-
Rickman, baby.
"Thank you, you knew where I was going"?
Why a spoon, cousin? Why not a axe or lance? 'Cause it's dull, it'll hurt more, you twit.
I'm gonna cut your heart out with a spoon. Anyway, but like I said, I teeter on about a 6 or a 7. It's just okay. Brendan, I know you gave it a much lower grade.
I gave it a 5, but I really considered giving it a 4 or a 3.
So there you go. It's average to just okay. It's not great, but if you're looking for something new to watch, go ahead and check it out. Whether you get to
Honestly,
season
if that little blonde girl hadn't blown that dude away while everybody was staring around acting like a bunch of morons, I probably would have given it a 3, but the little blonde girl saved them.
Nice. Okay, fair enough. And that's been this